And I didn't get the number. That's okay. I can only assume that we are live. It didn't do exactly what I wanted it to do, but what the heck. I'd like to welcome Aime, my dear friend Aime Hutton, and today we're live on Spiritual Warriors Wisdom, and Aime comes live way across the city from me in Calgary, and we could have done this together, but she has a really busy life, and I have a really busy life, so we had to do it this way. Welcome, Aime.
Hello, my friend Neil. It's so good to see you today. How are you?
I'm awesome as we roll. So today I asked Aime to come on to the show because Aime is one of these. When you first meet her, most people would say she's just very quiet. But what I truly appreciate, Aime, is this strength, this resolve about her, and she has this calm, beautiful demeanor about her that just exudes love, but she has this ferocious tenacity and do not mess with me about her. And I think that comes probably just from day one of you were born. You had to fight right from the moment you were born. So could you share what day one was like for you?
Yeah, I would love to share this story, Neil. You're right. You're right. People see me a lot when they first meet me and go, yeah, you're kind of a little flower. You're kind of a blossoming type thing. And it's like, oh, honey, if you know where I've come from. So, yeah, in 1976, when I was born, my mother found out the hard way she couldn't carry to term. So I was born at 26 weeks gestation, about 3 months early. Yeah. So when I was born, I was 1 pound, 12 ounces, which roughly equates to 780 grams. And the doctors literally pulled my dad aside and said, she's not going to live 24 hours. Do you have the name picked out? We have to baptize her. And by the way, if she does live, she'll always be small and petite, which I can laugh at now.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't supposed to laugh. But that's amazing in itself that because where do you think this came from? Like when you were this little tiny little thing, you fought for your first breath, you fought for your second breath, you fought for everything was your first from that point of view. How did that impact you in your life?
Oh, I've been asked that before, Neil. I've been asked, where did it come from? Why am I here? Like, why am I alive, really? And I don't know, it's an inner strength that a lot of premature babies who do make it have. And call it God, call it spirit, goddess, Buddha, whoever, the universe. Um, they said that no, Amy and other premature babies who lived, no, you are here for a reason on this earth, and you need to be here today and show others that, as a one line I like to say, that inch by inch you can overcome anything. I'm proof of that. Like going from 1 pound 12 ounces, think of a pound of butter that you buy in at the grocery store, that plus 12 ounces. That's how much I weighed. And that's pretty much how big I was too. Like I was a pound of butter and a bit. So it's this inner wisdom, I guess, this inner strength that, yeah, is very, very calm and very, I don't know how to word it, like very calm, very peaceful, very almost inside, buckled in. But when I have to come out of that shell and bring her out, she can come out full force, which I know you've seen.
And we've done some personal growth workshops together, and some of the exercises we're doing was required to call this inner strength. And this is why I love Aime, because the person she projects, and she is this calm sense. Yes, she loves to be excited, and yes, she's fully engaged in what she does. But when she needs to call on that mama bear energy, that Kalia energy, it is there, and it's like.
Yeah, I remember that day. I still remember that training that day, Neil. And well, I was a participant at that point, but one of your co-volunteer mates, will say, he apparently was across the room in this gigantic space, not an auditorium, but a conference room type thing. And he came over from across the room because I guess my energy was that intense that he had to see who it was. And he was rather surprised when he realized it was me.
And yeah, and so this ability to call on this strength which you have, how has that helped you in your life, or has it?
Oh, it's helped in many different ways. Like, yeah, my schooling, I loved not being at school. I'll word it that way. My happy my happy times was when I was in the growing up years, when I was in like swimming, or when I was in dance class, or was I when in the Girl Guides. Because being at school was not a happy time. Being severely teased and bullied by my peers for 6 years, and being told that I would never write well and have problems in the education in my core subjects of learning put a damper on my spirit. But I never gave up. I kept going to the point where, I remember asking my mom in grade 7 or 8 if I could switch schools because it was getting really bad. And my parents were like, no, you need to keep going and you need to figure this out, and, you'll get through it. And my grade 8 graduation, I actually was awarded the most improved student out of the grade 8 graduating class. So that inner strength of keeping on going has helped me carry through, and also into university, which I think we may be talking about in a minute or two.
Sweet. Which brings it to me, it's a beautiful segue to, so you were bullied as a child, and now one of your, I don't know if it's your complete mission, but one of the things that you love sharing with completely, I see you light up when you help young girls in life. What are you doing with these young girls?
Oh,
What are you doing?
the young girls, 11 to 18, it's it's just this. Yeah, I do light up because the girls I've worked with and the ones who I've yet to work with, I know where a lot of them are right now. I know they're being teased. I know they're being bullied. I know they feel they have no friends, that they have no support. They may have a very loving, loving, loving family at home. And like my parents were very loving. But sometimes parents do their best, and sometimes the parents don't know what to do because maybe they were bullied as a child. That's where I come in. And I help these young girls. As the one mom I worked with, her daughter, she's like, you helped my daughter find her inner confidence, and you helped her to believe in herself again. And proof in point, this young girl, she is in grade 5, 6, and I was working with her one-on-one at her house, and roughly about week 4, she said to me, she goes, Amy, I'm walking down the hall different. I'm saying hello to people. I feel more confident. Yeah, and I almost lost it. Like, I almost happy tears. Like, I was like, this is why I do what I do. To see that transformation in these young girls, just go, yeah, I can go over and say hello to that person in the classroom, or I can walk down this street or walk down the hallway and in school and feel confident about myself. And the mother actually overheard her daughter say it, and she almost ran into the room in tears because the mother's like, that's what I want for my daughter. I want her to believe in herself again and find that inner confidence that she can be an astronaut. She can be a politician. She can do whatever she wants in the world. And I create tools with the girls and activities, and it's all experiential based. So, for example, that we do an activity about being brave. And instead of sitting here like you and I, Neil, talking about it, what I do is I have them start drawing pictures about what it means to be brave. And then we talk about that, and we, you know, there was one activity I do too, and she drew out a storyboard as if she was going to make a movie about an activity, one of the themes we were talking about, and she had to draw it all out and describe it. So it's very hands-on learning and very getting really out of, yes, she has to think about it, but really getting into her feelings of, okay, I see someone over there being bullied. What am I going to do? How am I going to fix the problem, or who should I talk to, or dreams and goals. We make dream boards, we make shields about being brave, and it's an amazing transformation to see these young girls. I also had a father come to me years ago say to me, he's like, what have you done to our daughter? She's different. She's come out of her shell more. She's engaging with the family more. And again, exactly, that's what I want for these young girls.
Sweet. So this is a good segue here too as well. So if people wanted to get a hold of you to work with their young ladies in their groups or one-on-one, how do they get a hold of you?
Yes. You can find me on the internet. The website is www.inchbyinchempowerment.com. And there you can link to social media like Facebook and Twitter. You can read about all the different programs and specialty programs I even do with like Girl Guides and other groups. It's just a joy. And if adult women also, if they were bullied and they have this drive to change the world and to change that cycle, to stop that cycle of bullying in the next generation, contact me too, because I actually, Neil, have just launched a year-long mastermind facilitator program for women who want to be a facilitator with Inch by Inch Empowerment.
Cool. I didn't know that. And Amy and I, we're not best of buddies, but we're good friends. So I usually know what Amy's doing. So this is like, woohoo, this is good. I'm excited.
Yeah.
So what I believe, and this is me, as we discover and we we come out of our shell and we work toward, as we overcome the issues of being bullied, as we overcome self-consciousness, as we become more conscious, I personally have found that my awareness of my place in the universe is affected. Do you find that is how do you bring spirituality of some form into your program, or is that just an effect of the programs?
It's a bit of both, actually, because I may bring up, and I say it this way, like God, Spirit, Buddha, whoever you believe in. Like I may work with girls who are of the Muslim faith, or girls who are Jewish, and or girls who are their parents are Earth spirituality followers. So it kind of comes into play depending on how we're talking and what we're discussing, but it's amazing to see it's really just about the transformation and that total piece of them just coming out of that shell. And even in a 4-hour workshop that I've done with a group of dancers, they came in at the beginning and they didn't know really what was going on, but by the end of it, they were talking and engaging and talking to each other, making new friends. And I was up in Edmonton in October with the Seroptimus Club, and the girls literally came in not knowing anybody. But by the time they left, 3 of the girls were like, we're going to form a band and we're going to be musicians and we're going to sing. And it's because I brought them together and I had them interact with each other in a different kind of way. That's not typical school.
Sweet. So Amy, I know is a fighter and a risk taker. And one of the risks that I know that Amy took, I'm a 4 times international best-selling author, and somewhere in all of Amy's crazy work and workshops and presenting, she decided to do something crazy, and she decided I should write a book too. So what spurred you on? What drove you, inspired you to write a book? Your first book?
the first book I compiled, so the anthology I compiled, I knew I must not be the only one out there who's overcome adversity under the age of 12. So me with my birth story in particular. So I searched out 29 people to join me in a book about overcoming adversity as a young child. And that book is called Inch by Inch Growing in Life. And it has 30 stories of children overcoming adversity. There's my birth story is right in there. Chapter 1. There's stories of child abuse. There's stories of living with a disability. There's our friend Sonny, who lives with muscular dystrophy, and he and his mom were in the book together, sharing a chapter. And the other reason why I did this book is because of the hospital that saved my life. I don't know if your viewers can see this, but that's the logo for the Children's Hospital in Eastern Ontario in Ottawa, Canada. And I wanted to give them money. Because they saved my life, I chose to give money back to them. So with my own fundraising efforts and 1/3 of the book proceeds, I was able to go on CTV Ottawa on the telethon that CHEO does every year, share my story, and present them with a check for $3,216 that went directly, yay, yes, that went directly back to the neonatal intensive care unit to help those tiny heroes. That's why I did the book.
Sweet. So then, and the other thing is, so Aime is equally as creative and as crazy as me, because Amy's not just done one book, she's been part of a couple books. But the one I actually, and I cannot find it, this is where I really, Amy's the book she was in the first time by Kate Gardner, was when I really realized, oh my God, like I knew Amy's birth story, but I didn't really know how much of a heart open person Aime had to rediscover, and how much trust she had to come to give back to the world because of an incident that happened while she was in college. Could you share that with us?
For sure. So in university, I was taking school away from home. I was 16 hours northwest of Toronto, Ontario, up in Thunder Bay. And I was studying full time, and I started a relationship with a fella, and I thought he was going to be the one, because that's what actually my friend before me did. She was a year ahead of me in school, and she actually met her husband in university, who they're together still. Kristen Kitcher is her new name, with her beautiful young daughter she has, and her husband as well. And I thought that's what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to find my husband, and life would be grand. But it wasn't that way for me. I fell into an abusive relationship that my boyfriend, I'll call him Derek, and Derek was emotionally controlling, and he wanted to know, where I was going every second of the day. He got jealous that I was watching the movie at that point was Top Gun that was out, and the beach volleyball scene with Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer and the boys with their shirts off playing volleyball. Like, hello, I'm a university student, female, attracted to guys, and I see a bunch of men playing volleyball with their shirts off with nice looking stomachs. Like, of course I'm going to be happy to see that. And my boyfriend, he got jealous, and he didn't like hearing about these things, and he didn't like hearing about times from high school. So he became very controlling, very possessive, to the point where I remember saying to him at one point, I'm like, you're not my mom. You're not my mom. You don't have to know where I'm going 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like, please give me some space. And he didn't listen. So I went home from school in between years 1 and year 2. And I talked to my mom, and she was like, Amy, I'm worried about you. This doesn't sound good. So I wrote him a letter, and the letter stated, I just want to be, friends, and if I see you, fine, but, I don't want to really be around you. Well, then my boyfriend, Derek, decided to stalk me for the remaining years I was on campus. And I walked everywhere with it was called Foot Patrol. And it was like a walk home service on campus. And I walked everywhere with them at night. because I was afraid of being alone and having him find me on campus, because he also lived on campus too.
And that's terrible. And no person, male, female, transgender, whatever, should ever have to experience that. So my heart goes out to you. But my question, not to belittle the story, is how did you get past that? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like, was it a faith in God? Was it a faith in your friend? Was it just, you just knew inside of you that you were not going to succumb to this?
That's a really good question. It started with my mom, to be honest, when she said to me that she's worried about me, and she didn't like hearing what was going on. She was kind of worried. Um, and then throughout university, I had a pretty good support network because I was 16 hours away from home. Um, I got involved in a first response team, a medical first response team on campus, and I got new friends and I hung out with them. And yeah, I did walk around with, always looking over my shoulder because I was afraid, but I knew I had to keep going. Again, there's that inch by inch theme coming back. Like, I knew I had to keep going to get through. And then I moved out here to Calgary, actually, after university in 2000. And I still wasn't feeling fully complete or together or whatever. And it's actually how I met you and your wonderful wife, through doing those personal growth work exercises and working with those guys, that I really began to heal what was going on. Um, Again, it's that inner strength again that just kind of appeared. She appears. I don't always have to call upon her. She just will, all of a sudden, she's like, "Yep, you're gonna get through this, and let's go." Um, so yeah, spiritual, yes. I know there's a god or goddess. I believe in the goddess. Um, that's what I study, and she, in all her forms, Kali included, will come and say, "Yeah, you're gonna go forward and keep moving and go through whatever you're going through, good or bad, because there's good things and bad things in life, right? That's the whole balance piece, being in yang."
Sweet, thank you. So hopefully all of those learning experiences, those terrible learning experiences, are all behind you. Let's just, what do you plan, like, you and your version of spirituality, where are they do you believe that they're leading you next? What is the world of complete openness for Aime look like?
uh, Goddess and all her deities and the angels, which I've just started to learn about, like the archangels and things like that. Um, and my spirit animals and the totem animals, example, the hawk is one of them. And when I see the peregrine falcon or the hawk, it's keep going higher, keep soaring, keep going. And then the other underlying piece to that is we got your back, which is really cool because I have that in real life, and for me to practice trust of people, is something I'm still practicing. And but going forward, yeah, to take the inch by inch empowerment that I do with the young girls and spreading that globally, really being able to go to places like Africa, go to places like Kenya or South Africa. I have actually friends in South Africa, um, who need inch by inch empowerment for their girls and for the women who want to become trainers and facilitators. One of my big dreams with the facilitator program is actually doing like a train the trainer. So having workshops for the trainers to come, the facilitators to come to Canmore and stay in the Rocky Mountains and network and engage and practice so they can all work together. That is part of the program, but on a bigger scale, to go global, that would be the next step.
Cool. So if I myself, a young girl, anyone that is just starting on the path of discovering spirituality, their place in the universe, um, how they fit, what would, just something simple, easy, would you recommend that they start, try, experience? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I have a couple of thoughts on that. One is be yourself. That's one of the
Ooh.
core messages I also speak and teach about is be yourself. Like, for example, be okay with wearing feathers in your hair. Be okay with wearing color. Um, if you want to wear feathers in your hair, be yourself and be okay with that. And on the spiritual end of things, parents mean well, and if you follow and go to church and do that route, then that's cool. If that's where your heart feels you need to go, then do that, please, and follow that route. However, if there is something inside you, like there was with me, going, well, what if God was female? That was my question at one point, and that's where that kind of took me into learning about the goddess traditions and the goddess deities and the cultures and that sort of a thing. So that's my message.
Sweet. Because that falls hand in hand to what I believe. Because if you read any of Don Miguel Ruiz's books, our beliefs are given to us by our community, our family, our society. So everything, we're born with no beliefs. And our society and our tribe gives our beliefs. And I believe that our own awakening occurs when we challenge the beliefs. And we look at each thing that we believe in and go, do I believe in this? Does it support me? Is it what I want to think? And we can say yes or no. And if we're unsure, then go and find an answer. Go and find what it is that you believe in. And it's not till we like sometimes we started in the terrible teens when we push back against authority and we challenge. And sometimes it doesn't occur till life throws you curveballs, throws you um, uh, unfortunate circumstances. Do we question? Sometimes it takes a death in the family to go, what's the meaning of life? And whatever it takes, look at yourself and start to question. But you don't have to. And if you question, please, please, please do not beat yourself up from the answers. So once again, if people wanted to get a hold of you, how do we get a hold of Aime Hutton? How do we get a hold of you?
Yeah, I'll say that in a second, but what's popping up for me right now that I do want to say is like when I am home visiting my family, I do go to church with them. I do celebrate all religions, and I still will go to church with my family if I'm home. So it's not that I'm only this way. I am open to everything, and I will celebrate everything. And I like to learn about all religions and all cultures. How you can get a hold of me? The easiest way really is the website www.inchbyinchempowerment.com.
And are your books listed on the website? Because you've written a few.
I've compiled one, and I've been a part of three others actually, and they are all under the books tab on the website. You can find more information there.
That's sweet. So we've got a couple minutes. Any last words of wisdom that you just gotta share with us?
Be brave, be bold, be yourself, and inch by inch you can overcome any challenge that is in front of you. If I was able to do it, being given 24 hours to live back in 1976, then you can overcome anything.
And that's a beautiful segue to say thank you, and thank you for being a guest on our show, and we can leave it at that. So see you all soon.